Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Mike. It is Sunday, the 24th of November. This is my week ahead video. It's free today. I don't have time to do charts for you guys, so I'm going to put this out there for free. This is a weekly video I do for my members. I'm trying to work on a way to get this out there on a way that for a cheaper cost. I was going to do that through Twitter subscriptions, but it just hasn't been approved yet. Um, by the way, I'm offering a special $50 for the first month. Then it reverts to $150. Cancel anytime. There's a link in the description below if you want to try us for 50 days and see how we trade into the end of the year. By the way, I will be doing a special video coming up in the next 30 days for members on my year ahead and what I like this year. All right, so markets are close to an all-time high, and we go into a holiday week here in the United States. And what that means is the markets are closed Thursday for Thanksgiving. Friday's a half-day sessions. They close at 1 o'clock. So markets only open for, you know, uh, about 3.5 hours. On top of that, we have a big data week coming at us on Wednesday. Thursday, we have consumer confidence. Then on Wednesday, we have durable goods GDP and PCE. So Wednesday's the big day. This week is typically a melt up week. We just slowly melt our way up. Volume is typically very low. In fact, Friday is so low that there's usually very few people trading. It's usually just algos. Bond market's completely closed. All right, so you get the idea. We also have some earnings this week, so we'll come over to that real quick and thanks to my friends at Earnings Hubs for providing this. You can see here, nothing really on Thursday or Friday. Even Wednesday, the morning's pretty quiet, nothing the afternoon session. That said, we have retail and some cloud and software companies coming into play. So on Monday night, you have Zoom. I'm always interested in what they say. Unless they buy somebody, they're just not a growth company anymore. They're kind of stuck. Best Buy, we'll see how the high-end electronic consumer is doing, and Macy's, which is always all over the place. Then you got Dick's and Kohl's, but those are the ones. Macy's the ones I want to trade. Zoom possibly, and then Tuesday night, I'm very interested in trading Crowd and Dell. You also have HP, Workday, and ADSK in there as well. So we have things coming at us. So when we come into this week, we'll talk about some of the commodities and some other things here. Crude continues to come off the lows. It's slowly bouncing here. There's no real power to it, but still coming off the lows. Bonds, unfortunately, remain very weak, and this is part of the problem right now. We have weak bonds. We have rates are higher than they should than people think they should be or they want them to be. That's a negative on the market. Gold is coming back up. Nice big push off that 100-day moving average is pushing back up the all-time high there at 2801. Bitcoin has been incredibly strong. It hit 100,000 new all-time high. This thing's been on a rampage. The VIX is saying there's nothing here to worry about. Look at this closed candle on Friday. We came back down. Again, I still think 12s are in the cards here at some point, but you can see we came up, we played with this gap and came back down. HYG, we always look at HYG. These are corporate junk bonds, it's corporate debt, and usually they lead. So when we were strong earlier, you can see they were leading us up. And then here they're holding in. Well, the market's waffled around. They're kind of just going sideways, not much going on there. The transport's always a great indicator of the economy pushing back up. And then the other problem child is the dollar. The dollar had a big spike to a multi-year high, 52-week high on Friday. And again, a little bit of toxicness. The high dollar, high rates are not what the market wants to see. So we'll see how this plays out over the next couple of sessions. Let's talk sentiment before we go into looking at stuff. On the Nasdaq here, right, you can see a number of stocks making new highs versus making new lows, plus 301 versus 91. This is great, right? Typically markets just don't roll over when you have this kind of action. We got negative last week. We turned it around. We're positive 301 versus negative 91. This is good. On the S&P 500, we remain strong. Look at this, 234 versus 8. Markets just don't roll over when you have breadth like this, guys. It just doesn't. Put the call back into the neutral zone. Okay. Breadth itself, look at this leading up now. Look at this big move on the NASDAQ. Just missed putting in an all-time low in here, but moving back up. The New York Stock Exchange near an all-time high, pushing up as well, leading up. We look at our advanced decline lines, they all curling up. Look at this big move on small caps on the S&P/X and the NASDAQ, all pushing up strong on Friday. And the oscillators plus 73, we're now on the positive side of neutral here on the New York Stock Exchange, and plus 81 on the NASDAQ, same thing. So overall sentiment is strong, good. It's in our favor. We're not hot. We're not extended. This is exactly what we're looking to see. All right, so let's start off with the S&P 500 here. S&P 500 came down, danced on the 21-day for multi-sessions, kept closing above it, tested this gap area here, and have pushed back up. And here's your all-time high at $600.17, and it feels like the market wants it. Whether it gets it, a couple before Wednesday or after Wednesday, it doesn't really matter. And then you have Friday, a low volume melt up day. So overall, the S&P 500 looks great. 21 days now support. And if we dip, then you watch that 583.90 area. That's where that gap is. Notice the 50-day coming up nicely. The tech heavy Qs have been a little weaker, haven't gotten close to the all-time high, but they're trying, pushing up. Not as strong of a day on Friday. Still didn't take out Thursday's candle, but gap to fill. We got a little bit of gap left to fill up here, and then a move back to that 515 area. Rotation happened last week, right? IWM, look at this 4-day move. Beautiful reversal, undercut, rally, pushed up. Here's your 52 plus week high, 242.39. The Dow is just off the all-time high, right, pretty much just right there. The financials led this. A nice big move to a new all-time high. I never like chasing the banks, but JP Morgan, here's your all-time high. Just got it. Keep your eyes on that on this week. Goldman Sachs just there. Morgan Stanley's already put it in. Bank of America also putting in a many year high. Same thing with Wells Fargo. The banks look stronger. They're not extended. They've worked that off. They held in very nicely here. Energy's woken back up. I'm not a fan of the sector, but it's up a little bit. It's not really giving power moves. You got names like Devon coming off the lows here. Chevron has been one of the stronger names there near the highs, but it's not a big participation type rally. It's very, very name dependent. Natural gas plays, LNG, has been very strong in that space. Uh, you got a big pop on XBI. I didn't play this, and I probably should have last week, but I knew this was overdone. We talked about it, and then it finally gave a nice 4-day move back up. This was fear. This is fear that RFK is going to completely destroy the healthcare system, and all these pharma companies are going to go out of business and blah, blah, blah. And, come on. I just say, come on. We know that's just not going to happen. Okay. So back up we come. And what I would do is here, I'd look for best in breed names, names like Lilly gotten beaten up here pretty bad. Now, I will point out that Lily's well underneath the 200-day, all the way down here, almost $200 off the highs, 200 plus bucks off the highs now. Has to get back above the 8-day. Amgen is another stronger company. I would keep an eye on that one. J&J has been stronger, right? I would look for your big, strong pharma names you like, ones you think have good drugs, and go for them. But overall, they're holding in. In the food space, McDonald's remains weak. They still can't recover from that E. coli thing. So watch that 200-day. Maybe it's in play until it takes back the 8-day. Starbucks has been trying to break out. Finally did on Friday. This name has been annoying as hell. You can see the 52-week high is $103.60, and this 101 area has been a bear, but finally closed above it. Maybe we go. So we'll keep an eye on that. CMG remains kind of stuck, but pushing up. There it goes, finally moving, as well as Kava got smacked down on earnings. It's kind of just sitting there. We'll keep an eye on all of those. Go over into the media space. You got names like Disney has woken back up, and that is a nice big move off the lows, not at a 52-week high, but nice hold of that gap and pushing up, creating this nice little island, small little tiny island bottom on this name. You'll see what it wants to do. Here's your next big resistance right up here at 117 area, and see if it can push above to 123. Netflix has been on a tear, new all-time highs day after day on this one. I wouldn't be chasing it, but nice move there. See if you can get a dip and hold at the 8-day. What else we got in that space? Meta out of play. Right now, they're not interested in Meta. It remains weak and out of play. I have my daily trading lines in here, but underneath the 8-day here, we'll see what it wants to do. Watch this 550-170 area, and then you have a gap here at 544.23. Overall, still looking a little bit quiet. The payment space has been on fire. Square, new multi-year high on this one. Nice move up to 94. Again, hard to chase, but this is where they're piling into. Affirm also a nice big move on that price target increase on Friday, but coming back in. Watch for reconnects and holds at the 8-day. PayPal kind of stuck, but also waking up. And UPST, watch that gap. It's pushed into it a couple times here. What I'm going to do now is move my notification up to 75. And that's where I like that one for a quick gap fill and a move higher. Did trade that one a little bit last week. These are all looking very interesting. Let's go over to the semis. Actually, let's do retail. Big retail names have reported. Walmart, new all-time high, was a golden report. Beautiful move there. Nothing else to say. Target, it was a horrible report. They're getting the crap beat out of them. They have a huge gap down. You got a dead cat bounce here on Friday, but I don't expect much. And Costco, new all-time highs as well. These are where the money's going into. We go over to the SMHs here, remain very, very weak and out of play. And we're not anywhere near a 52-week high. And this is the one area, if you're asking my level of concern in the market, is the markets are stronger when semis lead. Semis are typically stronger this time of year, and they have not been. The SMH is just not wanting to wake up at this point. Come down, we held a 200-day a couple times. We're still hovering near it. As long as we hold that, we're fine. But, not loving the action here. And this, we'd like to get it back above the 21-day and move up. NVIDIA had earnings last week. They were a great report. So many people out there, "Oh, I don't know, understand." It was a fabulous report. The market got pissy because it only guided up $2.5 billion above what they did in Q3, which, by the way, they beat big time on to over a couple billion on guidance. There's no doubt that the AI trade and the hardware and NVIDIA is the winner there, and that trade remains strong. And I can guarantee you that guidance was probably a sandbag, probably because they're just worried about being able to get enough out. But the problem is when you can't get out, you can raise your prices and they can jack the prices through the roof. So Nvidia, new all-time high on Thursday off of earnings morning. We traded that then, but out of play here, and we'll see. So the big spot for me is, do we hold this 140 area? Do we retest this 137.25 area, or do we really come down and shake some tree and test the 50-day at 134, which I would like that at? Unfortunately, the rest of the space remains weak. AMD, it's just, until they start showing some headway into this AI space, unfortunately, they remain dead. Underneath the 8-day, I'm still holding some shares of this. I still love the company. I love Lisa, but it's a ways to go. What else do we got? Let's talk about what else in the space. Micron also kind of just hanging out. Taiwan Semi, probably the best in breed here, also just kind of chilling out. Nothing really leading in this space. Let's go on to tech and big tech names. Start off with Apple. Apple here is looking very coiled. I am long calls on this into December on Friday. This 230 area has just been a beast. So I don't know why, but somebody here is pounding the hell out of this name every time it gets to 230. You can just see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row. It has pounded into that level and it has been sold off into that area every time. So, we'll have to see what it is. Probably some fun. Maybe Berkshire is dumping again here. Who knows? But if it takes this out with volume, this thing looks ready to run. It's coiled. There's people trying to push it. The 100-day support, if we drop, that's the area to watch. Google, unfortunately, just under assault here with the Justice Department now. The 200-day has been support the last 2 days. If you lose that, you got a gap down here. It could drop quickly down. No, it's pretty much that gap is filled. Sorry, you could drop quickly down though towards this 160 area, and then even lower you have gaps. That was a great report. So this is on fear they're going to get broken up. And this is affecting the rest of the names. Amazon, which is so strong in that great report, gap down. Look at that big gap down and cannot find momentum under the 8-day. We'll see if the 50-day holds there. Microsoft as well, just stuck. Now their report was not good. If it's sitting in here, not doing much, maybe it goes back up, maybe it doesn't. Not a big fan of that one right now, the way it's trading. We talked about Meta, we talked about Netflix. Let's talk about Tesla. Tesla here, and I haven't forgotten crypto. We're coming to that. Tesla here, nice big move on Friday. Couldn't hold the breakout, but did break out above the earnings high. Tesla to me, I keep saying this, and a lot of people keep laughing at me that I think it's going to hit the all-time high before the end of the year. And everybody's like, well, that's so far away. It's not that far away. It is like $50 away at this point. And Tesla can move $50 in a week when it really wants to get going, right? This thing is moving an average of $32 a day right now. Probably use 23 as probably a better number, but $23 a day, it doesn't take much to get that. Right, strong, holding in great. The daily chart looks wonderful. Still out of the Bollinger Band. Still, sorry, on the weekly chart, still out of there. On the daily chart, will come in. Nice move here. So I would keep this one on my radar. It's one of the ones I'm really watching. Then with Bitcoin up, watching these crypto names, MSTR got the living snot peed out of it on Thursday. It was overdue. That said, however, this is what happens with these names. And this is a big warning to you guys out there when you're trading these names. I see so many people saying this never coming in, this is never going to come down. These type of candles, because there's just no buyers left, and then panic selling comes in, and you get this big wash, right? So we flush down and we bounce back. We held the 8-day the last two sessions. See if you hold. But this candle, that was a wake-up candle. Look at the volume. Take a notice. Coin. Now, I understand why MSTR is outrunning Bitcoin. Why so much? I don't understand why coin is up so much other than it's moving because of it. They don't really hold much Bitcoin. They're transactional based, and Bitcoin transactions have not been up. It's mostly people buying and holding. They're not selling. That's why their report wasn't all that good. They got sold. So we'll see. Here it is trying to cling to the 8 day. To me, this 21 day becomes a clear spot to hold, and a break of 330 really important on that one. And that's where I'm at, guys. So for me this week, it's a short week. I'm going to focus on momentum. And what I mean by that is I'm going to focus on names that have events like earnings or news, have flow, option flow, which we use all the time and gives us really puts us focused on the right names. Or, I've been part of the trade. And for me, that's right now is either the banks, it's crypto, and it's Tesla. That has been the trade since Trump, and I would just stick in that area until something changes. So with that said, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you guys live in the room tomorrow. Special link in the description if you want to join us at a discounted rate for your first month.